So this chapter 7 of clustering, which is a part of unit 4 of our syllabus, okay, data analytics data 601, we will understand what really the clustering is all about. Okay. Now, clustering is a process. Clustering is a process of examining a collection of points and grouping of points into clusters according to some distance measures. So, clustering is the process of examining a collection of points and grouping the points into clusters according to some distance measures. The goal is that points in the same cluster have small distance from one another. The goal is that point in the same cluster have a small distance from one another, while points in the different cluster are at a large distance of one another. I mean to say that what really the goal is, same cluster, small distance from one another. If we, this is the one cluster, and let's change the color, and this is another cluster. Same points should be, having a small distance. Same point should be having a small distance. But the distance between two cluster, a suggestion, while other point different clusters have a large distance, should be at the large distance. Okay, this is the major goal of clustering. This is the major goal of clustering. The suggestion of what clusters might look like was seen in figure 1.1. In figure 1.1, what we have. This is a cluster in which we are having a clustering data. This is a cluster data. This is a clustering data. This is one cluster. This is second cluster. This is third cluster. This is fourth cluster. This is fifth cluster. This is sixth cluster. This is seventh cluster. This is eighth cluster. This is ninth cluster. This is 10th cluster. This is how our clusters are made. 11. This is an example of a cluster. Okay. This is how the cluster way works. To understand which page from. We're talking about page number 241. So we understand what is the clustering. However, there the intent was there that there was the three cluster around three different road intersections, but two of the cluster blended in one another because they were not sufficient separated. Okay. Now, our goal in this chapter is to offer the method for discovering clusters in data. Where we are focusing the data stream. We are particularly interested in situation where the data is very large and or where the space either is high dimension or space is not Euclidean at all. We shall therefore discuss several algorithms that assumes the data does not fit in the main memory. However, we begin with the basics. The two general approaches to the clusters and the methods for dealing with cluster is a non-Euclidean space. So first of all, we have high dimensional data is very large and having a space of the high dimensional, or the space is not Euclidean at all. And second is to no to second is a non-Euclidean space. Let's understand about the clustering techniques. We have to learn the notion of distance measure in spaces before learning about the clustering. So what is this line definition? How we calculate a line definition? We go for the slope, and then how we get a slope by x2 minus x1, y2 minus 1, y square is equal to x2 minus x1 for whole square plus, plus y2 minus y1 for whole square. So it's, you just put a root and find out the value. That's something that a formula I want to make sure we are. The two major approaches to clustering is hierarchical and point assignments. So two types of clustering is there. When we need to write an answer, the two type clustering is there, hierarchical and point assignment are defined. So we then turn a discussion of the curse of dimensionality. Why? What is the curse of dimensionality? When we try to put a cluster, due to the high dimensionality, it is difficult for us to make a correct algorithm for the cluster analysis. We need a simplification in the clustering technique, from which the clustering algorithm will give the one of the best results. Now, for this, let's learn about point spaces and distance. A data set suitable for the clustering is called points. The data spaces which suitable for clustering are called as points, which objects are belonging to some space. Like for example, I'll give you an example. This is a space S. Here we are getting this yellow marks. Okay. Now we are putting this yellow marks out here. So in this space, yes, we are getting a cluster like this and like this. This is what a clustering what we're talking about. Where this is called points and the space which belongs is called this space. Okay. In its most general sense, a space just a universal set of points from which the point in data set are drawn. However, we should be mindful of common case of Euclidean space, okay, which has a number of important properties useful for clustering. In the particular Euclidean space, points are vectors of real number. The length of the vector is the number of dimension of the space. The component of vector is commonly known as the coordinates to represent points. Okay, this is simple coordinate geometry which is defined out here. All spaces for which we can perform a clustering have a distance measure giving a distance between any 2 points of the space. So within a space, any 2 point, what really the distance we have is will define the Euclidean distance. Euclidean distance square root of the sum of the square of the difference between the coordinates of the point in each dimension. X2 minus x1 का whole square, y2 minus y1 का whole square, and that is equal to the xz square. That's what the Euclidean space is all about. And here we are putting this Euclidean space in the height weight thing in the 3 different areas. Three different varieties of the dog. So the beagle is a variety of the dog. Jews is a variety of the Dachshunds is a variety of the dog. Okay. So somehow this book has given us a property. This book has given us the property how the clustering part is taken care, how the clustering part is there. Okay, how the clustering part is in an organization. Let's understand this. So In the previous example, we have a dog varieties which dog fall in the three clustering things. No, that's what the clustering part is. We just make a plotting like this with from only a simple looking. We can say that this is a space of this particular object. But in the modern clustering problems are not so simple because you know that we have a very challenges in for the dimensionality of the product. So how this dimensionality of the product is taken care? Dimensionality of the product is taken care by utilizing a non-Euclidean space formula, and which includes the Jaccard distance, cosine distance, and Hamming distance. So when we have a clear cut structure, then we have x2 minus x1 the whole square, y2 minus y1 the whole square, and z square is equal to v. And for the next, we have Jaccard distance, cosine distance, and Hamming distance. This is the way we are getting the thing started. Okay. Now, now let's move ahead. Let's move. Okay. Okay. So how this all distance will work? It's like this. Recall the requirement for the function of the pair of the points or distance measure. Distance are always non-negative term. And only distance between a point itself is zero. Distance is symmetric. It does not matter in which order you consider the point when computing their distance. Distance measure over the triangle inequality. The distance from x to y to z is never less than the direct distance going x to z directly. Okay. So you know what is there really it is. It is like if we have x, y, z. Let's say x to y and z. We go x to y, then z. Will be never distance never less than the distance, and if you go direct x to z, then x, y to z will be always greater than x to z. Okay, and we are talking in the terms of the distance. We are talking in the terms of a distance. And how the clustering strategies work. This is, we need to understand when the plane clustering will be there, we will go for the Euclidean space, and then the non-space thing is there, we go for the Jacobian cosine distance thing, and where we go with this kind of values. Now, we have we need to talk now. We need to talk about the clustering strategies. In the previous way, we were talking about the clustering point space distance, and then the next way we are defining about the clustering strategies. What really the clustering strategies are. So we can divide clustering algorithm into groups that follow two fundamental different strategies. First is hierarchical or agglomerative algorithm. Okay, it's as a name is suggesting, it is hierarchical. We just need to push one, then again connect with one another, then another. Hierarchical or agglomerative algorithm start with each point in its own cluster. Clusters are combined based on their closeness using many other definitions of close. Combination stops when further combination lead to cluster that are undesirable for one of several reasons. Okay. For example, we may stop when we have a predetermined number of the clusters. Or we may use a measure of compactness for clusters and refuse to construct a cluster by combining two smaller clusters. If resulting cluster has the point, then they separate out into large region. The thing is that if a cluster becomes big for the calculation aspect, we just break those clusters into two most relative or in like most equidistance items. Other class of algorithm involves point assignments. Points are considered some order and each one is assigned to the cluster into which it best fits. This process is normally proceeded by the sort phase. You know that the hierarchy is for the big phase and this is for sort phase, in which initial cluster is estimated. Variation allows occasional combining of the splitting of the clusters. Alternate pointers are assigned if they are outliers. We understand outliers in our previous lecture, what really the outliers is all about. Next is algorithm for clustering can also be distinguished by A, whether the algorithm assumes a Euclidean space, whether the algorithm assumes like Euclidean space, or whether the algorithm works for the arithmetic distance reasons. Whether the algorithm assumes a Euclidean space, or whether the algorithm works for an arbitrary distance space. We shall see that a key distance is that in Euclidean space, it is possible to summarize a collection point by their centroid, average of the points. In non-Euclidean space, there is no motion of centroid. We are forced to develop another way of summarized clusters. So we can say that in the Euclidean space, we need the centroid. In not Euclidean space, we have to work according to the new data sets. Whether algorithms assume that the data is small enough to fit in main memory, or whether the data must reside in the secondary memory primarily. Algorithm for large amount of data often must take shortcuts since it's invisible to look into the pair of the points. तो अभी समझने वाला point इधर क्या है कि we can push data in a hierarchical format and we get large clusters. So less cluster will be divided according to their relationships, extent relationships. Okay. Next is where we have a point to point, and then we take the thing this knowledge form. Okay. Now we got a term that is curse of dimensionality. But really, the curse of dimensionality is all about. Now, what is the curse of dimensionality? We have understand for the calculation of the clustering, we have a two space, like Euclidean space and non-Euclidean space. Okay. So obviously, when we have a dimensionality, when we go through the triangle rule and solve our clustering problem. But in the non-Euclidean space, we need to prove work on point-to-point rotations. Use our calculation of x of Jacobian and cosine and all. So where and that's what the curse of where the high dimensional Euclidean spaces were there, and which will produce a high number of intuitive properties that are something referred to as the curse of dimensionality. Okay. Okay. Now, so we understand what really the curse of dimensionality is. Whenever there is a high dimensional data, the non-Euclidean space, it will create anomalies which manifest as the problem in the long-term calculation of the clusters. So how the things will work? The things will work in high dimensional space. Let's understand how. The distribution of distance in high dimensional space, let us consider d-dimensional as Euclidean space. Let us consider a d-dimensional Euclidean space. Suppose we choose n random points and unit to point x1 to the x2, where xi is the range of from 0 to 1, and where d is equal to 1. What is the dimension here? One dimension. When replacing random point line of 1, we expect that some points will be very close. The consecutive points on the line. We also expect that some point will be very far away, those or near opposite end of the line. The average distance between a pair of the point is 1 by 12. Why it is this? Again, that triangle concept. The triangle concept comes with the plane. Okay. Suppose that the t is very when the d is 1. We are talking about the things when the d is 1. D is 1. Okay. Suppose we have a D and is of very large. So first of all, we get a point. We generally give a formula. We give a formula for one, and we get formula for the x. What is it is? Whatever the close thing will be there, we will try to connect. So we'll take and this is for the when the D value of D is the value of D is n, then we can generalize this thing. And when we create that part, we got this formula. Two random points are there, x1, x2, x3, y1, y2, y3. Then how it is done? I from I to D, D is a dimension, whatever dimension we got, 2, 3, whatever. Then it is equal to the x1 minus y1, y2 का whole square का root. It's simple formula what we know about Euclidean is z square x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. And when we don't use this square, we just put a root. That's what the general form of this formula is talking about. Okay. So here the x1, x2 is the random variable chosen informally the range 0 to 1. Since d is large, we can expect some I and x1 I is close to 1. So here the thing is chosen between 0 to 1. Let's put a lower bound of 1 on the distance between almost any two random points. In fact, more carefully argument can put a stronger lower bound on the distance between all must but a vanishingly small fraction of this pairs of the points. However, distance between the 2 points is always root d. We are using the triangle concept out here. And one can argue that all but a vanishingly small fraction of the pair do not have a distance close to the upper limit. That's how the thing is taken care when we have a dimensionality problem. We just need to introduce this thing. Okay. So the random data will be taken. We always know that there is a m part while calculating the while calculating that slope part will be taken in account whenever the line calculation is done. Suppose again that we have a three random points A, B, and C in d-dimensional space and D is large. Here we do not assume points are in the unit cube. Okay. Then we have this formula. Okay. What is the angle of the ABC? The angle of ABC is given by this formula. We assume that A is the point like this. This level. We assume that A is the point of x1, x2. C is the point of y1, y2. D is the point of origin. This is the point of origin. Okay. Then ABC is the dot product of a AC divided by the product of the length. The dot product. ABC will be the dot product of the length. This is a simple trigonometric formulation while calculate our trigonometric the coordinates and everything. This is what the thing is. We are taking dimensionally x1 y is cos x1 and then x1 to square is y to the square.
As D goes, the denominator goes linearly in D, but the numerator is number of values. So let it go positive. Thus, as expected, numerator is 0 and D goes. Standard deviation goes on. So, in the past, when we study about this formula, we are taking as a coordinate part, but in the present, we are taking this formula as a statistical part. Point of view. That's what the thing is here. Finally, we add this D1 plus D2 and we will get our model. Okay, this is what a clustering introduction is all about. Let's understand the second part. This is hierarchical clustering. We understand that we consider a hierarchical clustering in the gradient space. This algorithm is relatively used for the small data sets, but even so, there are some deficiencies. But this space is non-Euclidean, the additional problem associated with hierarchical clustering. We have to consider clusteroids, and that we represent a cluster when there is no centroid or average. Now, the thing is that hierarchical clustering in Euclidean is hierarchical clustering at the point.
How the efficiency will be fine. Now, second point is of non-Euclidean space. So there are the two ways to analyze this. So then we will proceed forward. K-mean algorithm and K-mean basis from the book. We have gone through some PPT, but I will give you in a somewhat a viewpoint of the book also, so you understand that you are not far away from your concept. Okay. So in the book, we have a hierarchical clustering in which we go where we find a clustering through Euclidean space. That's Euclidean space defined like this, 12 point of the clustering hierarchy. Okay. And then the clustering hierarchy is calculated, and this the way the 2-point cluster is made. And finally, the thing we are finding out clusters. How the efficiency of cluster is calculated, same. The initial step we have a O1 square, subsequent steps, and the further we have a O and Q. Okay. The alternative rule for the control hierarchy clustering is there are many ways we can do the things done either by making a point-to-point connections between them. We will study in the next lecture. I'm just giving you a hint to prepare you for the next lecture. Next, then again, we have a hierarchical clustering in the non-Euclidean space. We have K-mean algorithms. Okay. And again, you should always connect with the syllabus. So, plus we have our clustering techniques, hierarchical, K-mean, and clustering as the high-dimensional data. So we understand hierarchical a little bit, but then we need to learn K-mean and high-dimensional data. So here we have a QR algorithm. We also need to learn this about this thing in our course. This is our summary. This is a very good summary we have. Right now we only understand clustering, what really the clustering is. This clustering algorithm, what the course of dimensionality, how we choose centroids and clusteroids. Centroids in non-Euclidean space we got for the average. This is clusteroid in general. When we have clustered, we got a centroid. And how we choose the clusteroids, radius and diameter, then we have this hierarchical clustering. We have learned till that. In the next section, we will go for the picking cluster to merge, swapping the merge process, initializing K-means, then picking K-means, BFR algorithm, processing point in BFR, then we go for the QR algorithm. Then we go for the clustering strings as well for the next chapter of the matrix. Okay, I hope